Hey guys, so a bit of an update about the piano, and I've been researching how different people, skilled musicians, practice the piano because it's really weird. All this stuff that comes up on Reddit now when you put anything in, ask any questions. Um, Really odd how so everyone, the problem with the internet is everyone's suddenly an expert. I mean, even myself, I consider myself an expert. Um, um, and the internet, for some reason, gives people, as well as AI, it gives people such authority because it's sort of written and typed, and it's black letters on white or white letters on black if you've got a dark screen. But it's that very statement of the printed word on its own seems so authoritative. Because if you looked at somebody who'd written like a diary or something, I don't think you'd give it as much credence. But because you see something in typed, New Times Roman, it's very serious. It's bookish. It's like all the books that we had at school. It somehow gives them credence, I think. And I'm learning this, and then because this new algorithm, this new Google thing now puts Reddit up at first on just about every question you ask instead of sponsored ads. I mean, you still get loads of those as well. Bloody annoying, frankly. It's I've been looking at what people have to say, and I've discovered they talk utter shite. People talk shite with authority. So what you've got is you've got all these groups on Reddit, and you might have a piano group or a cello group, and it's full of teachers or musicians. And musicians are the worst, actually, because musicians love themselves, and we sort of have to. But they love themselves, and they think that they're the best, and they think they're all knowledgeable, and they think they're that la 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 la. And I mean, I wouldn't dare assume that. However, I've got my own opinions, and a lot of my opinions I haven't formulated. They fluctuate, they change. So I was really interested to find out about practicing, because actually, while I practice my viola and my cello a lot, I never practice piano ever. I don't feel the thrill of it. However, the last couple of days I've been starting to get into it because I'm doing this Prokofiev piece, this prelude, and I'm interested to find out if I can be good at piano. Because as a composer, you just sort of play piano and you can sort of you play it to compose. You use it as a tool because it's got all the voices, and all those lovely notes. You can go a bit mental with them, and it's exciting. You can work out things. You think, well, what would this sound like? You imagine you get to know what it would sound like as a bugle or a trumpet or a cello or a violin or whatever. And I love improvising on the piano as well, and that's just something I do. I do it all the time. But to actually be a good pianist and play other people's music is not something that I've really religiously done, other than a few grades when I was a teacher, So this has been this sort of learning curve. I really started 3 days ago, and I thought, well, I'll throw myself in at the deep end with this because I'm really good at reading music. I'm not saying I'm really good at sight reading, but I'm very good at reading music. I can work things out really quick. So this grade 8 piece that I'm looking at, I thought, right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to study how I learn so that I can perfect the way that I learn. And when I say learn, I mean learn a specific piece with targeted, successful, succinct practice sessions. What works? What have I been wasting my time with all these years? I'm 62 now. I started playing when I was 7. And my journey, my musical journey took me elsewhere. It took me to composing quite early on. And that's what I've been doing ever since, in one way, shape or form. So, this is a really interesting thing for me, and a challenge as well. Can I do it? Are you coming up? Yes, cat. So anyway, I went down this rabbit hole yesterday about playing, because I looked up how long do most people practice hands separately before they put hands together? Now, I just assumed that that's what everybody did. I was taught to do hands separately, get fairly fluent, not at full speed, but fairly fluent, and then put them together. And then you practice together, and that's what you really want. And for me, the bass line always holds the pace, and the melody holds the tune. The right hand, usually. I'm not saying all the time. So imagine my horror when I found out that some people never practice hands separately, and other people practice hands separately until they're at full speed or faster than the piece it should be played, and then they put hands together. And I just thought, wow, I don't do either of those things. I mean, I've looked at the right hand and the left hand separately. I've worked out my fingering. But then somebody said, your fingering will probably change when you put hands together. And I thought, will they? Why on earth would that happen? I can't see that happening at all. Now, when I hear a piece, I can hear the left hand and the right hand. And when I play it myself, I can hear the left hand and the right hand, how they should be. You don't play them like that because you're not good enough yet. So I was just a bit amazed at all this information, these alternate ways of learning. I'm going to practice a bit more tonight separately, but I'm itching to get together now. I'm itching to put the hands together because the prospect of learning the right hand and committing it to muscle memory, and learning the left hand and committing it to muscle memory, and then having to relearn it almost because you're putting hands together. I'm intrigued to find out if that works. So what I'm tempted to do is maybe one page. I think there are 6 pages, 5 or 6 pages. So maybe one page, it might be 7 actually, can't remember now. Maybe one page I try that. So I'll practice the right and practice the left. And do it over and over and over and over until I'm really fast at them. This is a very, very fast piece of music. It's mimicking a harp. So it's really twinkly fast, yeah? Gliding. There's a lot of glisshendos as well, which I need to learn. And the thing with the gliss, you need to stop at the G. And it's not that thing where like the jazz people do them and they're just going up the piano. I always thought they just end when it just flies, sort of a kind of endless, curve of harmony. But clearly that's not the case. You have to end at the G. I was like, top G, very top G. Now, I think I can hear it when I come to it. So I don't think I need to watch. But this is the other thing, because I like to look at the music. So I like to feel the notes and I comfort myself that way. And in a way, I suppose it's a bit harder, I think. It's almost like being a blind person, almost. Although you can glance down if there's a tricky bit, like the gliss, you could... end on that G maybe if you glance down. But the minute I glance down, I'd be like, where am I? Now, the other thing that people were saying is that when it's time to commit it to memory, and I thought, hey, what? Commit to memory? I'm not sure, because I've never done that in my life. I've never, all I do is improvise. If I can't remember something, I'll just move into an improvisation phase. And just as long as I'm in tune and I play some arpeggios and, well, hey, Bob's your uncle. There we go. And I thought, well, is that going to be possible if I practice correctly and do this 60 times hands together each bar, because that's how long it takes to stick, apparently. Am I going to be able to commit that to memory? Am I going to, when it's something that I haven't been trained to do? Suzuki relies, especially early Suzuki books, rely a lot on memory play. And I'm always a bit overwhelmed when I look at somebody on the TV playing, a 10-minute piece of music completely by memory. I just think, wow. What is their brain thinking? I mean, I've been playing the Bach suites for years, and I can't remember them. I can remember maybe the first line. But I think committing to memory is something you train yourself to do. So I'm keen to do that for a page. So, one page, because this is an experiment to see if, which method is best for performing the piece to standard. Is it the hands separately? Is it put them together as soon as possible? Is it playing by memory? I mean, I've got a feeling memory playing is going to be the answer. When do I start? I mean, the thing with this piece, this Prokofiev, there is, it's not difficult in the sense that there's quite a bit of repetition. It doesn't deviate from key very often. I think there are 3 bars where it changes key, maybe a bit more, I can't remember, but only if it, and when it does change key, it's for like 1 bar. How do you, what cues does the person who learns by memory use? This is really interesting me. Is it just because you've listened to it so many times? But I mean, I forget the words of a pop song. It's not, I've never relied on my memory because there's just far too many other things to think about in the world. I just think, just look at the music. Much easier. But maybe that's not true, and you're never too old to learn new skills. So I'm thinking about it. And with my cello as well, I thought, well, maybe I should try the prelude by memory. And what it would mean for me doing it by memory would be memorizing what the printed page looked like. Do you see what I mean? So I'd remember the first line because I'd visualize it. So I'd see the black dots. But I guess there are other things that people use, like stepping. I mean, in the Prokofiev, there's you play, I think it's 4 bars that are the same in the right hand, and then it moves up a note, up a note, up a note, up a note for the next sort of consecutive bars. So you can see, already I'm starting to memorize, because this piece is an advanced piece of music, and suddenly perhaps I'm thinking, because the human brain is actually quite lazy, and the human brain will go to the easiest method. And if the easiest method is just to memorize it, maybe, these advanced pianists who are learning a lot in a relatively short space of time, and it's much easier to do it where they can look at their hands. I don't know. But as I say, the brain is idle, and the brain will take the shortcuts to get to where it needs to go to. That's a sort of human instinct, I think. In my experience, for me personally, anyway. So yeah, I'll do more experiments, and I'll let you know how I get on. And where I haven't got time to do any lessons at the moment, but if you want to book private lessons, I will. Obviously, that's that I am available for private lessons. You can contact me through Lounges TV. You can book a 1-to-1 session. You can book me through my website as well. The Suzuki school, I'll make sure, actually, I'm sitting there saying, oh yeah, you can use a contact form. I will go and make sure that there is a contact form up there and that it is actually accessible, because obviously that would be very annoying if it wasn't. So yeah, I'm available for private lessons, but unfortunately I don't have time to give any lessons at the moment for the online stuff. Everything's a bit manic at the moment because, and the film is out, chapter 10, the film is out. I'm going to do chapter 11 in a minute. So the new track is all done. I've composed a new track, and that music will also be up on YouTube probably tomorrow with a piano score. So it's a very unusual piano score, so I'll be interested to see what that's like myself, because I played it, I improvised mostly, got it in tune, moved a few things around, but I haven't seen the score yet, so I need to turn it into a score, a readable score. So guys, it was an absolute pleasure, never a chore. And www.obviouslyisoverland.com, sdelamer.blogspot.com.